The first move is seductive because it makes you feel intelligent. It gives the illusion of control, the sense that you saw something before everyone else. That feeling is powerful, and for many traders, it is addictive. Being early feels like proof of superiority. It feeds the ego long before it feeds the account. But the market does not reward intelligence. It rewards alignment. The first move exists to test conviction, not to pay profit. It is where uncertainty lives, where price has not yet decided, where opposing forces are still evenly matched. Entering here means you are trading hope, not evidence. Most early entries are born from impatience. The chart looks ready, the idea feels right, and waiting feels unbearable. You convince yourself the confirmation will cost too much, that the risk will increase if you delay. In reality, the opposite is true. Early entries carry invisible risk because there is no proof that the market agrees with you. The pain of being early is slow and exhausting. Price hesitates. It moves against you just enough to create doubt, but not enough to justify exit. You start watching every tick. You stop thinking clearly. What began as confidence turns into anxiety, and anxiety demands action. This is where mistakes multiply. Stops are widened. Rules are bent. Logic is replaced by justification. You no longer read the market. You negotiate with it. And the market does not negotiate. The first move is where weak hands are collected. It exists to invite prediction, to punish anticipation, and to transfer money from those who want to be right to those who want to be disciplined. Every shakeout, every false breakout, every sudden reversal has the same purpose. When the market finally moves with strength, the early trader is often gone, stopped out, discouraged, or emotionally drained. He was right in idea but wrong in timing, and timing is what pays. Waiting feels like torture because it removes the excitement. There is no thrill in watching price move without you. There is no validation in doing nothing. But doing nothing preserves clarity. It keeps the mind neutral and the plan intact. The safest move rarely looks attractive. It looks boring. It looks obvious. It looks like something you should have done earlier. And that thought alone keeps most traders out. The market does not announce safety. It reveals it slowly, through structure, through continuation, through refusal to fall back. When price holds where it should, when strength replaces hesitation, the risk becomes visible and manageable. Entering after confirmation feels like surrender. It feels like giving up the dream of perfection. But perfection is not the goal. Survival is. Every trader who lasts learns this lesson the hard way. Loss after loss, from being early, from trusting instinct over proof, from confusing courage with recklessness. Eventually, the pain becomes greater than the need to act. The first move is not an opportunity, it is a question. And most traders answer too quickly. Prediction gives a temporary sense of power. The feeling that you understand what will happen next can be intoxicating. It makes you feel ahead of the market, as if the future has already whispered its secrets to you. But that feeling fades quickly when price refuses to cooperate. The market does not reward foresight. It rewards obedience. Every prediction is a personal opinion, and opinions carry emotional weight. Once you predict, you become attached. Once you are attached, objectivity begins to die. Traders fall in love with their forecasts. They defend them, they explain them, they protect them, and in doing so, they stop listening. The market can scream in the opposite direction, and still the mind finds reasons to stay loyal to an idea. Confirmation is uncomfortable because it delays gratification. It forces humility. It demands that you admit you do not know what will happen next. You wait, you watch, and you allow the market to show its hand instead of forcing your own. Waiting feels like weakness in a world that celebrates action. But in trading, action without evidence is self-sabotage. Confirmation is not about certainty. It is about alignment. It is the moment when price agrees with your thesis, not when your thesis demands obedience from price. The absence of confirmation creates internal noise. Doubt, fear, impatience. These emotions push traders into early entries. They convince themselves that being early means being smart. In reality, it means accepting unnecessary risk. Confirmation quiets the mind. When price breaks, holds, and continues, the internal conflict dissolves. You are no longer guessing. You are responding. That shift changes everything. Trades taken with confirmation feel different. Losses hurt less. Wins feel earned. Decisions become mechanical rather than emotional. You are not proving anything. You are executing. Without confirmation, every tick feels personal. Every retracement feels threatening. You watch the screen not for information, but for reassurance. And the market offers none. The hardest part of waiting is watching others profit while you remain still. That comparison creates pressure. It whispers that you are missing out, that hesitation equals failure. But the market is not a race. It is a test of endurance. Confirmation does not guarantee success. Nothing does. But it removes self-deception. It eliminates the need for excuses. When a confirmed trade fails, you accept it. When an anticipated trade fails, you justify it. Over time, the difference becomes painful. One path builds discipline. The other builds frustration. Strengthens confidence. The other erodes it. The market leaves footprints. It shows strength. It shows weakness. Confirmation is simply the patience to wait until those signs are clear enough that emotion no longer needs to participate. Prediction feeds the ego. Confirmation protects the account. Patience feels unnatural because the market is always moving. Prices change. Candles form. Volume appears and disappears, and the screen never rests. The mind feels pressure to respond, to participate, to justify its presence. Doing nothing feels like falling behind. Most traders confuse patience with fear. They believe waiting means hesitation, weakness, or lack of confidence. In reality, patience is an active decision. It is the discipline to let the market complete its work before you risk your capital. Impatience is emotional. It comes from discomfort, from the need to feel involved. Watching price move without you creates tension. You imagine profit slipping away. You feel excluded. That discomfort pushes action, and that action often comes without clarity. Patience protects the mind. It prevents emotional attachment. When you wait, you observe. When you observe, you learn. The market begins to reveal patterns that are invisible to the restless eye. Every rush trade carries emotional baggage. You enter already tense, already defensive. The position becomes personal. Price movement feels like judgment. That emotional weight clouds decisions and magnifies mistakes. Waiting strips away that weight. When you enter with patience, you are calm. You are prepared for either outcome. Loss does not feel like failure. It feels like probability doing its job. Patience also creates distance from noise. Not every movement matters. Not every setup deserves attention. The market produces endless signals but very few opportunities. Learning to ignore most of them is a skill earned Bruce restraint. The hardest moments test patience brutally. Price moves close to your level, pauses, then runs without you. That pain feels sharp and unfair. But chasing that move creates deeper damage. One mistrade costs nothing. One emotional trade costs confidence. Over time, impatience compounds. Small, impulsive trades stack up, each one slightly worse than the last. The account bleeds slowly, and the mind grows frustrated. Losses hurt more because they were unnecessary. Patience slows everything down. It gives you space to breathe. It turns trading from reaction into process. The chart becomes information, not temptation. The patient trader does not feel rushed. There is no urgency because there is no attachment to any single trade. Opportunity is endless. Capital is not. Markets reward those who wait because waiting filters out emotional decisions. It aligns the trader with structure instead of impulse. Strength appears after patience, not before it. Every successful trader remembers the moment impatience cost them dearly. The trade that never should have been taken. The entry made out of boredom. The loss that lingered longer than it should have. Patience is learned through pain. It is reinforced through survival. Over time it becomes instinct. The urge to act fades. The urge to wait strengthens. The market does not punish inactivity. It punishes poor timing. Patience gives timing room to breathe. Ego enters a trade before logic does. It wants recognition, certainty, and the satisfaction of being right. It whispers that you see what others don't, that hesitation belongs to weaker minds. Ego turns trading into a personal challenge instead of a professional decision. Early entry feels heroic. You imagine yourself stepping in before the crowd, claiming territory before it becomes obvious. That feeling creates attachment. Once attached, you stop measuring risk. Start defending belief. Ego hates waiting because waiting removes identity. There is no applause for patience, no validation for restraint. Sitting on the sidelines feels like invisibility, and ego cannot tolerate being unseen. Discipline is quiet. It does not argue or justify. It observes without emotion. It waits for structure, confirmation, and balance. While ego demands action, discipline demands proof. The moment ego takes control, rules become flexible, stops feel optional, risk feels negotiable. You convince yourself that this trade is different, that the market will understand your conviction. Losses caused by ego feel heavier. They linger in the mind. You replay them not because of money, but because of wounded pride. Being wrong hurts more than losing. Discipline accepts being late. It accepts imperfection. It understands that the goal is not brilliance, but consistency. Entering after confirmation feels boring, but boring trades survive. Ego chases validation through frequency. More trades mean more chances to be right. Discipline trades less, but with intention. It understands that overtrading is emotional leakage. The internal battle is constant. Ego pushes for certainty. Discipline tolerates uncertainty. Ego demands control. Discipline surrenders to probability. When discipline wins, trading becomes mechanical. Decisions are made before emotion appears. Execution follows plan, not feeling. Losses are processed quickly because there is no personal story attached. Ego resists rules because rules limit freedom. Discipline embraces rules because they protect capital. That difference defines longevity. Every trader remembers the trades taken to prove something, to recover faster, to show confidence. Those trades rarely end well. They leave scars that shape future behavior. Discipline grows slowly. It is built through repetition, reflection, and restraint. Ego never disappears. It waits patiently for moments of weakness. The trader who survives learns to recognize ego early, the urge to act, to justify, to feel special, and chooses silence instead. Ego wants to be early. Discipline is willing to wait. The beginning of a move is full of noise. Price jumps, pulls back, hesitates, and fakes direction. Emotions are loud there. Fear argues with hope. Every tick feels important. Risk is unclear, and structure is fragile. The middle is different. The middle is calm strength. Direction has revealed itself. The market is no longer asking questions, it is answering them. This is where clarity lives. Most traders never experience the middle because they are exhausted before it arrives. They burn emotional energy trying to predict the start. By the time the move stabilizes, they are either stopped out or too afraid to re-enter. The middle feels expensive. Price is no longer cheap. The chart no longer looks clever. It looks obvious. And obvious feels uncomfortable to those who want to feel smart, but obvious is where probability concentrates. Trend is established. Support and resistance are visible. Risk can be defined without imagination. Stops make sense. Targets are no longer dreams. In the middle, pullbacks are respected. Buyers step in with confidence. Sellers retreat quickly. The market shows memory. It behaves consistently enough to be trusted. This is where professionals operate, not because it is exciting, but because it is repeatable. They understand that the middle offers the cleanest balance between risk and reward. Entering here requires emotional maturity. You must accept that others are already in profit. You must release the desire to be first. That release is painful for the ego. The middle does not offer bragging rights, it offers steady progress. It rewards patience instead of prediction. Traders who chase begin. Ings often say they were right, but mistimed. Traders who trade the middle do not care about being right. They care about being aligned. There is less stress here. You are not defending a fragile position. You are participating in momentum. The market carries you instead of testing you. Losses in the middle feel cleaner. You followed structure. You respected trend. When it ends, you step aside without regret. The beginning invites hope. The middle invites execution. Hope drains energy. Execution conserves it. The market spends more time in the middle than anywhere else. Trends do not explode once and vanish. They breathe. They continue. They reward those who join rather than those who chase novelty. Many traders fear the middle because it feels like surrender, but surrender to structure is strength. This is where consistency is born, not in brilliance, not in prediction, in repetition. The middle does not promise perfection, it offers survival, and survival compounds. Bravery feels powerful in the moment. Clicking the button early, trusting instinct, standing against uncertainty gives a rush. It feels like strength. It feels decisive. But the market does not measure courage. It measures consequence. Many traders mistake boldness for skill. They enter without confirmation, without structure, believing confidence alone will carry them through. When price moves their way, they feel validated. When it doesn't, confusion replaces confidence. The market is indifferent to fearlessness. It does not care how strongly you believe. It does not respond to conviction. It responds to pressure, participation, and imbalance. Brave trades are emotional trades. They rely on belief rather than evidence. They feel exciting because they are uncertain. That excitement is a warning, not a reward. Timing is quiet. It does not announce itself with adrenaline. It feels calm, almost dull. It's no rush, no thrill, just alignment. When timing is right, you do not feel brave. You feel prepared. The entry makes sense. The risk is clear. The outcome is accepted before the trade begins. Bravery seeks to dominate the market. Timing seeks to cooperate with it. One creates resistance. The other creates flow. The bravest-looking trades often hide desperation, the need to recover losses, the urge to prove ability, the desire to feel in control again. These motivations disguise themselves as confidence. Timing exposes these motivations. It forces honesty. It removes urgency. It demands waiting until emotion fades and structure remains. The market punishes bravery because bravery ignores probability. It bets on outcome instead of process. Timing respects probability. It accepts uncertainty and works within it. Losses taken from brave trades feel personal. They shake confidence. They create anger. Losses taken from well-timed trades feel clean. They are expected. They do not linger. Reacts. Timing responds. Reaction is fast but blind. Response is slower but informed. Every trader remembers the trade taken out of boldness that unraveled instantly. The chart looked convincing. The story felt right. And then price moved without mercy. Timing trades rarely feel dramatic. They unfold slowly. Profit builds without tension. You are not watching every tick. You are letting the market do the work. The market rewards timing because timing respects structure. It enters when participation is visible. It exits when behavior changes. Bravery wants credit. Timing wants consistency. Credit feeds ego. Consistency feeds accounts. The market has no memory of your courage. It remembers only where liquidity is and where pressure breaks. Those who last learn this quietly. They stop trying to impress the market. They stop trying to conquer it. They wait. And when the moment comes, I act without noise.